Cricbuzz Comm Box to discuss a contest that, well, seems pretty one-sided at the moment, and I think it's fair to say that. I know we often talk about being a game of glorious uncertainties, but I think this is going to be a glorious certainty. 206 for 3. You want it to be 63 probably at the end of the power play, and for maybe 1 or 2. Bangalore have really lost their way. 63 for 5 at the halfway stage, and most importantly, all the big guns who could have done it, Finch, Padikkal, Kohli, De Villiers, are back for an early shower. I've got Shaun, Pollock alongside. It's not the kind of start that you want when you're chasing 200 plus.
Yeah, Gautam, disastrous, really. And when you look at the caliber of the players, you mentioned the names, but throw into the mix that all 3 of those guys captain their country at times. And all 3 of them have to come up with the tactics of how they're going to chase big scores down. So, yes, they haven't played a lot of cricket for a while, and they'll be very disappointed at the approach. But then again, credit must go to the Kings 11. They put the runs on the board, and they've come out, and they're bowling. Shami in particular has been brilliant. I really have been impressed. That test series I covered in India last year, he was brilliant, and he keeps just looking like he's getting better and better. You can see his confidence growing. In 8-dot balls, 1 for 7 in his 2 overs. He set the tone, and that's what you want. So KL Rahul must be wanting to pinch himself. A brilliant knock, and now his bowlers are backing him up.
Yeah, and I can tell you he's brought Shami back for another over at the back end of the back 10, and it was very nearly 2 for 7 for Shami. But no matter what he does, it's that initial spell that we saw in the previous game as well that has endeared him. And as a fast bowler, you want to see someone running hard, because that's the way he bowls, and that's the way you see him making that effort, Polly.
Yeah, and you just compare him to the 2 guys, Steyn and Arun from the other side, who offered up so many balls to be clipped away. You know, they didn't get any shape, but they didn't match it with a decent line and length at times. And just proper cricket shots were allowed Kings 11 to get off to a fast start. So it's always interesting to see a quality performance, particularly when you can compare it to someone who's already performed. And he's shone head and shoulders above what we've seen today on that field. So credit to him. And as I say, I think from a confidence perspective, even with the break he's had, he's looking really good, and I think he's got a lot of self-belief at the moment.
But at this stage, I know we let's assume that it goes the way it is going, because they've lost their big guns. Where would you attribute the bigger worry in that change room at the end of the day, in the Bangalore change room? The fact that their bowlers conceded too many, or the batsmen weren't able to pick up from where they left off?
Yeah, it's a difficult one to always blame the bowlers. You know, sometimes they can't do too much, and when there's quality batting, particularly when someone bats the length of the innings, you know, their timing's in, they've faced so many balls, they've got the pace of the pitch. So to blame the bowlers is very difficult. You know, KL Rahul played brilliantly, and as I say, with him batting the whole innings, he's always going to post a big score. The batsmen here, you have to give yourself a chance. It's the start of the tournament. Get yourselves in and give yourself the opportunity to put the team under pressure. I mean, even at this early age, you can touch on the fact that net run rate comes into the equation at some stage. We saw KKR get knocked out last year because of their bad net run rate. RCB are sitting now, probably going to be sitting after the second game with a terrible net run rate. And then, you know, it almost takes that extra point away from you when you're trying to qualify. So, yeah, it hasn't been great so far. Let's see if they can try and rectify it a little bit.
Well, that's my last question before we wrap up here, Shaun, Pollock. If you were a coach sitting in that dugout right now at 69 for 5 in the 11th over, would you tell your batsmen, listen, it looks look out of reach, can we at least try and get to 150, 160? Let's try and set ourselves a realistic target.
Yeah, the 2 men at the crease are almost your last throw of the dice. So you've actually got to say, listen, just absorb a few balls, get yourselves in, and then start backing your options. But we need to try and take this innings as long as possible. Not only is it the fact that we need to try and get as close to the score as possible, but also give yourself a chance. You probably won't get this many deliveries to face. And the amount of time you spend at the crease can definitely help us down the line in this tournament, because as the middle order guys, often you just have to come in and whack it from ball 1.
Yes, thank you so much, Shaun, Pollock. I think that last point is a point to ponder, because the individual effort, if a Dubey and a Washington Sundar get quality time out there in the middle, it'll stand them in good stead for the next match. That's all we have from Cricbuzz Comm Box. We'll see you at the end of the innings, which shouldn't be too far away, to wrap on My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live.